Hello, friends, and welcome to Call of Cthulhu Occult Origins. For our fifth chapter of our story, we shall be playing Chaosium's The Necropolis, from the collection of scenarios, Gateways of Terror. I am your keeper of arcane lore, Grinning Moon, and with me today is Garbot.
Nice.
Would you kindly introduce yourself and your character for those who don't know, and for everyone on the audience?
I'm Garbot, or Garbot Games, as some of you might know me from your chats. I am playing Georgia Schultz, who is on this expedition. She is a professor of languages and is here to help out her uncle. So hopefully we'll uncover something.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll just be a boring expedition. Who knows? We know that
A
your
waste of
uncle likes to talk a lot about his expeditions, but isn't that well accomplished in his field, as it were. His accomplishments are intangible in the academic world, but of course in the world of the noblemen's and high-born, he's of the life of the party, of course. The year is 1918. It's early 1918. Egypt remains as a protectorate of the British Empire since the beginning of the Great War. In the Valley of Kings, a small expedition being conducted by archaeologist Frederick Wilson is being conducted. It is funded by American investors, the Weatherwood organization, and has sent a James Walden to represent the interests and provide security to the workers of the expedition. Originally planned for 4 weeks, the expedition has stretched on for over 2 months. And to supplement the expedition's original funding, Frederick Wilson has taken out additional loans. But approximately 3 weeks ago, Rupert Merriweather, a representative and partner of the Weatherwood organization, has arrived to the expedition, and upon arrival, changed the dig sites to a remote corner of the Valley of Kings. Within days of changing the sites, the expedition discovered an ancient structure in the cliff face of a valley. We open on the last day of this excavation as a doorway is slowly being unveiled in the sand. On the as we kind of scope in on this scene, as it were, there is a series of tents in a small work camp. Multiple kind of just billowing in the wind. As we kind of pan over, we see many robed figures, turbans and whatnot, with picks and shovels and trowels, all digging away at the rock and sand near a structure, slowly unveiling the facade of this as it moves. Nearby, in a rather large pop-up tent, a table sits with steaming tea, and a few people gathered around it. A total of 3 men sit in the table, around the table, as well as 1 woman. As one of the gentlemen, who is clean shaver and a bit of a bowler cap, walks over to the gramophone and drops the needle. A song begins to play as the tea is finished, and James Walden, the rough-looking, stocky blonde, stands up and heads to the exit. Rupert nods to Georgia, and well, just be a matter of time now.
Thank goodness for that. I was beginning to wonder if we'd ever find anything in this blasted valley.
Oh well. Luckily, we got fruit of that move a few weeks ago, and it seems that we're about to see our rewards for sowing those seeds of effort.
Yes, it seems Regis is quite on the move for it. Been quite eager since we've gotten here.
Oh, yes, he seems to have certainly lightened his spirits over the last few weeks. I see him practically skipping across the sand every morning to see the progress they've made.
Been hearing from some of the workers, though, that they're concerned about the new location.
Ah, they have superstitious drivel. I'm sure that's nothing.
Sacred or cursed, whichever the case. Hopefully it doesn't amount to anything.
These natives, they believe everything is sacred. The sand itself is sacred, every grain of it. The lizards and the ridges on the mountain that move with every month. Like, it's really hard to sympathize with their plights.
But these are tombs. They're kings and old. You can understand why they consider it sacred.
We aren't the first to come and explore and learn from this land and take its treasures. And the Greeks before us, after all, were the real monsters burning Alexandria to the ground. I digress. I believe he kind of clinks his empty tea back onto the plate and stands up. And I believe we should go check on the workers.
Yes. She will stand and follow him out.
As the sound of the gramophone drifts off and you step out into the blaring sun. The workers have been working tirelessly these last weeks with shovel, spade, and trowel in the Valley of Kings. The desert sun beats down as they carefully unveil the facade of this ancient structure cut deep into a cliff face, buried by the sands of several millennia. The party of laborers continues to work like busy ants as a doorway is slowly unveiled. And Frederick buzzes as the steps buzzes with excitement, pacing back and forth, and almost a hindrance to the progress of how excited he is, as the 13 stone steps are uncovered to reveal a large stone slab covering an entryway. As you watch overlook this, you watch as the laborer construct a pivoted pulley system and begin slowly hoisting it into the air, exposing the dark chasm that is the tomb's entrance. As it opens slowly and you feel that anticipation, excitement in your heart, you feel the stale air kind of pour out from the dark hallway as it invites the group inside with its promise of untold treasure.
She will take that breath as the moment kind of breathes, the door standing open. As she feels her heart kind of flutter from the excitement of it all, she'll kind of snap back into the moment and look to her uncle and Rupert Merriweather. Well, shall we?
Frederick, your Uncle Frederick kind of doesn't even wait for you to say that, as he, basically, as soon as there is enough room for him to just stoop under, he is in there. His gait brisk and eager.
Yeah.
Both you and him are a little surprised to find that the entry and the passageway is clear of debris. There should be like sand. These are usually covered in like sand and like it's rock and shale. These things deteriorate over time after all, but like
Right.
this is relatively clear.
That is odd. Is there anything on the walls?
As you begin to take a step inside and grab torches and lantern to illuminate the walls and whatnot, the hallway kind of stretches out from the threshold into darkness. Damaged and worn hieroglyphs adorn the walls. Cracks in the frescoes are highlighted by the flickering glow of your torches and lanterns. At the end of the passageway, vague shapes of furniture and plaster bits can be seen in the half-light.
Going to slowly walk through the hallway, kind of taking in all of this. And as she's looking around, kind of keeping an eye out for kind of what they're after the sarcophagus or any other particular relics, but also mainly as they're passing through that hallway, trying to kind of get a quick read on some of the hieroglyphs that are there.
Okay. As you kind of enter, you hear the kind of a little bit of a murmur behind you, as the kind of workers some of them have diffused out and kind of gone back to their tents as the work's done, and they've been kind of more or less given the rest of the time off, the day off. A couple other ones clamber around, kind of held on standby if there's any further digging or anything that need to be done. James Walden kind of organizes them a little bit in this process. But as you look around the area and look at the walls and begin to read, go ahead and give me a Egyptian hieroglyphs. Back.
I mean, the green button, yeah?
I need the green button, yes.
I always forget which one. Oh, no!
Oh,
That's
no.
okay. That's okay. It's early. Sorry.
Okay.
It's hard to decipher with all the cracks and breaks in the wall, though.
There's a couple of different cracks and breaks, like was said. It's a little hard to decipher. Plus,
Nothing on
to
the
be
floor.
fair, these are the first time you've actually seen ones that haven't been deciphered before.
Mm-hmm.
So
it would take time.
It takes a little bit of time.
Yeah. Okay.
As this kind of goes on, and you see the cracks kind of etched in the facade, or actually kind of box shapes. You realize that looking at it, you can see that there's a little bit of dark, empty space in those cracks.
I'm going to hold the lantern up so I can see if I can get a better sight on the crack, see if there's something like in there.
You see that there's definitely a cavity back there.
Okay. Well, chambers on chambers.
Right.
She'll kind of continue on trying down the passageway, following the rest, trying not to get too far behind.
As you kind of begin down, Your uncle, Frederick, stops and continues reading. Tries to read these hieroglyphs as he does this. Rupert Merriweather kind of begins traipsing into the hall, curiously looking about, and just seemingly observing what you guys are doing. From what you've gathered, he's not a archaeologist. He's a enthusiast. He's an academic, but he's not. This isn't his field.
Right.
So, he's just kind of interested, pacing behind you at a casual trot. As you kind of continue down, you see at the end of the hallway, there's several sections of plaster, a small ornate table, and a golden chest that sit in front of a large hole that's been chiseled out from the bottom left-hand corner of a plaster wall that leads into the next chamber.
That there's a table, a chest,
and a couple sections of plaster.
Plaster. Okay.
That seem to be the removed bits from the seal.
Oh, okay. Table and a chest, possibly a offshoot of the mummification room? No, they wouldn't do it in here, would they?
No, this is the passageway.
This is the passageway.
Mm-hmm. You're in the passageway still.
Okay.
The door behind you is still open. This is just a hall.
Oh, okay. I thought we were in the room itself. Okay.
No,
the next room.
The next room is what's beyond this hole.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And there's a small table here. Wouldn't have an offering table out here outside the tomb, would they?
If you are trying to deduce this, you can roll an idea check.
Yeah, me. And that's just intelligence?
Intelligence roll, yeah.
Woohoo!
Cool. Success. You know for a fact that if there was a treasure chamber, or technically an offering chamber, it wouldn't be in the hall. So this is at a place. Also, the fact that there's a hole in this means that somebody else has been in here before. Grave robbers, maybe? It's not uncommon. But
we just opened the door.
You do know that sand drifts and dunes can reform over time. So maybe it was discovered years ago?
Something may have
The
been
deductions, the solid deductions you can kind of take away from this is that this has been visited before, and it hasn't been within the last years. It hasn't been recent. At least immediately recent.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Seems seen visitors at least once before.
What's that? And kind of, Rupert's just trying to decipher these hieroglyphs.
Well, the table here, bits of plastic. She'll kind of point out the little display. Maybe not so recently, but certainly has seen some kind of visitation.
Huh.
Bit more than just a tomb, perhaps?
Well, we'll have to be seen, but that's very... Grave robbers have been I did find one near Thebes one time that was completely ransacked by the time we got in. It is not unheard of. It has been thousands of years. It's not unreasonable that somebody else got here before us. But...
Well, let's hope there's something still here to find.
Oh, hopefully. Assuming... What are they? Georgia, George, do you mind coming over here?
And she'll just walk over. A slight roll to the eye.
George, do you know which... I need help deciphering. And
let me see.
Go ahead and make another crack at this with a bonus die.
Okay. What bonus die? Ooh.
A bonus die is going to be a D10.
A D10. Oof,
That's
I'm going to need more than a D10.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That is highly unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate. Yeah. It's a must be in a much older dialect that I'm familiar with.
He's like, well, I can tell. There's something about a pharaoh and the afterlife. Not sure.
I mean, that's standard Egyptian.
But there's this symbol here. The eye with the tear. I'm not used to that. Is that a perversion? Maybe. Not sure. Corruption.
She'll kind of look at it within the context of, what's actually written there. Although she's failing to decipher.
Yeah, and it's... You're like, okay, yeah, Pharaoh, afterlife, this part's afterlife.
She's gonna pull out a little journal and kind of copy or even get an impression of
writing.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. You kind of pull off a piece of paper and begin doing that, or you pull your journal side and kind of do it with the page exposed.
Yeah, however
you
get a rub, do a hand drawing, which yeah.
While you're kind of doing this, Rupert will kind of, as he's kind of panning over this, he'll see the little cracks, box-like cracks with the little cavities in them. What do we have here? Walden! Yes, sir. Get me a crowbar! Okay. And, he goes off and returns with the tool. And together they both get a pry bar, stick it in, and the chunk of walls pops out and a cavity is found.
As I was kind of thinking, yeah. After she gets the sketch, this happens kind of like as she's getting the rub.
Yeah.
And she'll kind of look over, see the wall kind of coming out, and she'll try to try to hurry to get the last of the impression so she can run over.
As she does that, and you see them pull it out and heave. As the stone hits the floor, you feel the tomb just rumble just a little bit. You feel that shockwave, and a couple rocks kind of crack and crumble above you, and a couple bits of sand streak down. Nothing collapses.
Oh, that's good.
Yet.
I was definitely like, oh gosh.
That being said, as you kind of rush over, you find in the hole a small linen-wrapped package with a painted wooden dog head protruding from the bandages.
Frederick, the
Yes, George.
organ jars they're not typically wrapped, are they?
No, Canopic Jars are usually in a chest. They usually make it out of limestone. It wouldn't be out here.
Might want to take a look at this then. She'll kind of make space for him to...
He kind of stoops over and leans in with James, do you mind? Kind of. And he kind of just gestures at him with his fingers. Like, yeah, you need... James just kind of grabs it haphazardly and drags it out, dumps it on the ground. With a thump and a big spattering of dust.
Delicately, perhaps? As she just kind of like tries to work with Frederick on like recovering it, getting it all.
Frederick kind of stoops over it and pulls a pencil from his pocket and begins, and kind of pokes and prods at it a little bit. And George, do you mind just unwrapping that linen a touch?
And she'll start kind of working on it a little bit, trying to be gentle and careful.
As you kind of remove the linen wrap, it's very dry and some of it cracks as you do it. There's not really much you can do to maintain the integrity, but you find that a mummified dog is revealed.
Pet chamber, at least.
This is merely an offering. It is Egyptian standard. They often left animals as offerings for shrines declared to the gods.
Did they always leave holes in the wall? Once it's mummified, it's dead. We wouldn't need air.
Well, not all the seals remained intact. The Egyptians were excellent craftsmen, but unfortunately the ravages of time has its effect. As we can see, he kind of looks above and you can see that there's like a fissure that kind of runs down the center of the ceiling of the hallway. And, as you can see, this tomb probably isn't in the same shape it once was. The integrity is a little compromised, but I think we'll be good to it, as long as we don't make too much racket.
Because on the wall that I was looking at, with the square holes.
You saw... No, it's not square hole. You saw a square hole.
A square hole, okay.
With a tile in it, and you saw the crack. That had a cavity. That's what you saw. Misinterpretation. My bad.
No, it's fine. My bad. Okay.
So yes.
Moving on.
As... Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to ask if there was anything else in this cavity.
There is...
Or if it was just the
It's
pupper.
just a...
Okay.
Compartment for the pupper. As you kind of look down the hallway, you see that there's a couple... There's 6 of them in this hallway.
Okay.
And you'd assume that if you opened up those, they'd have the same story. Or similar ones.
Interesting. The symbol that that we weren't able to decipher, do I see it repeating in this hallway?
This hallway is more or less a large mural, and that's the entire kind of thing. So it's kind of more or less mirrored on the other side.
Okay. But it's not like a repeating symbol throughout. Okay.
It's repeated on the other side in the same spot, but...
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I guess on to the next room.
As you kind of conclude your investigation with the small mummies, you kind of probably move your findings over to the side so they're not going to block egress. And as you kind of give this its due diligence and move it out of the way, maybe even back into the thing, whatever. I don't know what your prerogative is, but...
Right, yeah, just...
The 2 men, Rupert and James, will head towards the small cavity. You'll hear him say, "Holden, hand me that time torch." has a better feel. And he kind of trades the lantern for him and comes around. And oh, I'm so excited to see what's in this. And as you kind of like hear him go into the other chamber, his voice begins to muffle, and you hear, "Oh my God!"
Frederick, everything all right?
There's no response.
James, something's wrong.
James Walden just he kind of looks peculiarly. He's like, "Sir? Sir? My God, man, you have to see what it is! It's beautiful!" He's like, "Oh, God." And he's just like, you see him even go like...
I feel like they just like share a look, like after they both just like, oh, thank God. Like,
Go ahead and roll me a listen check.
Dick. I am not so good at that, but we're gonna try. I fail.
You hear him mutter something under his breath, and you exchange a look, and you're just like...
Just exasperation.
And then, like, it's a momentary break, and then he goes back to his normal professional. Someone's like, "Coming, sir." "No, send George first. Send George. He'll appreciate it more." Okay. He like, was crouching down, like, and he just kind of bridges his nose, like...
Just gives him a look of, oh no, please, allow me. Like, yeah, she goes in.
As you kind of crawl in on all fours, you crawl out of the breach to find a room filled to the brim. Stacks of glittering treasures and artifacts. Various furniture, stone tablets, statues, jewelry, trinkets, and even a full golden chariot and canoe adorn the perimeter of this room. To the east, a huge... just to give you some point of reference, you're coming out of the southwest corner of the room. To the east, a huge stone slab seals an archway, and two large statues flank that archway and seem to stand guard. To the north, kind of directly diagonal across the room, a darkened archway leads to another section or room of the tomb. There are, as you kind of look into the room, you see that sections and bits of plaster lie scattered across the floor around that entrance, that north entrance.
Okay. Trying to take in just how much is in here. She'll kind of like lose herself in it for a moment, almost forgetting why she came in to begin with. And then she'll realize, oh right, and start looking for Frederick.
No, Frederick is just like agape, torch held high in the fucking room.
Right.
And just like, "We did it, George! We did it!" And there's just like a weirdly maniacal smile of just pure exuberance and elation. Just hungry.
She's just like, well, damn. Really glad that happened. And she kind of looks around the room again, kind of sharing in the celebration a little bit. I want to take a look at that slab that's on the east wall.
The east wall is... As you kind of move towards that, you see that, taking a closer look, the sealed archway reveals that the two statues on either side of the entrance are actually mummified men, impaled on long spears to hold them upright. Their heads themselves, which you originally thought were like masks or helmets, are actually replaced with that of a crocodile and a jackal. The crocodile holds a bronze battle axe, kind of, soldier style across the chest. And the jackal holds a khopesh, which is, if you don't know, if you've seen the mummy, the magi swords, the circle blades.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any writing nearby with the mummies or the slab?
Not in this room, no.
Hey, Frederick, the imagery here is rather different, don't you think? Don't the gods usually stand guard? Not lay impaled?
He's like... He's still, like, glittering prizes and eyes shining, and just like... I hadn't noticed anything. Why?
Well, exactly as I described. Mummified gods, paled on spears.
We should be at rest. Huh.
Odd about this tomb.
This is...
Where did you get word of this?
Rupert was the one who mentioned the area. He had a rumor, apparently. I don't know.
She'll kind of start to round towards the north, kind of checking the floor as she's going.
As you kind of round around to the north, I will kind of just... In Georgia's mind, there is definitely something off. This is not familiar. Like, and this is Georgia, the academic, who isn't really an archaeologist, right?
Yeah, no, this is like history. Something's not lining up here.
This isn't any known period or dynasty of Egyptian history.
Yeah, and even with their occult beliefs, with the various with their pantheon and the way their rituals with mummification, something's off here. This isn't what they normally record.
Right. So as you kind of take this into account, Rupert kind of ignores it, begins looking through the artifacts and whatnot, and you go ahead and roll me a psychology roll. I don't want to give you too much.
Oh, it's not great. Watch me fail this now. Boom.
Bam. Nice. This is like the opposite of Megas.
Woo! I knew this was gonna be a bad run.
It's okay. So yeah, there's something on his face, you can't place it, but he's just kind of meticulously going like through the items, almost just excited and
Get on Christmas, kind of.
Almost that energy.
Yeah.
Walden walked into the room a few moments ago, right around after you said, the little bit to Frederick, and he's just like, sweet baby Jesus. Seeing all the fucking treasures and shit like that.
Right.
Ma'am, is that, Miss Schultz, is that, that doorway sealed?
And, because she was already looking at the ground, coming away from the slab to kind of, because she's on a train of thought right now.
Yeah.
And as she hears her name, she's, I'm sorry, what was that, James?
Was that doorway sealed, or is there another cut in that one?
And she'll turn behind her and look at the slab. I'm not entirely sure.
There's no...
It seems to be closed off, but these tombs, who really knows? And she'll kind of go back to looking at the ground, trying to see if there's anything that leads from here to the north door, or if there's anything out of place on the floor.
So you're in a large you're just in a large chamber right now.
Mm.
Well, I say a large chamber. It's not that big, but so so you kind of entered from. Actually, I have a map. Why am I doing? Why am I doing this to myself?
Give me the map.
Boop. There's the map. Give the people the map.
Oh, okay.
Off the stuff for the people. Zoom out for the people.
Gotcha. I had a round room in my head.
Serious. So there's the east wall and the north wall.
Yeah, I see.
I'll go ahead and just pop that. You can have that.
Yeah.
This back. So yes, as you kind of you see that the door on the east wall, which is the one he was talking about, is sealed.
Mm. It is sealed.
Yes.
Okay.
He's like, okay, I'll get some workers in here and we'll begin working on that. Might take a few hours, but
shouldn't be a problem. And she's kind of zeroing in on that plaster. Does it look like the plaster from the main corridor?
the one next to the north door.
Yeah, the
Yes.
plaster for that over there. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same kind of material that made the doors up.
And she'll kind of raise the lantern towards the doorway. She doesn't want to go too far around without, at least one other person with her. I mean, Frederick is clearly indisposed.
Fair.
So she'll just kind of light up the room the best that she can from the doorway.
As you kind of do that, and the torchlight kind of reveals a bit of a, horse blinder view into the room, as it were. You see on the back wall a mural. Fresco of sorts. This one's not like a hieroglyph, but like a proper mural. But you only see maybe a fourth of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
so,
if that.
on that little fourth of it, you see what looks to be Egypt and maybe smoke rising from it. But wait, smoke isn't blue or green? Not sure. It's hard to tell.
I'm gonna turn back to kind of look and see, how far away James is, if he's made it at least halfway back up the hallway.
As you kind of make your way back and listen in a bit down the hall, you hear him. Come on, man. You hear him talking to them in English like he always does, and not translating anything, and just expecting them to he's just kind of barking orders at them.
And she'll
in the
head
tomb.
towards the-
There's a door. Gotta chisel the door.
James, please. And she'll just put a hand on the upper part of his arms.
He's been struggling for a minute. You have time to crawl back through and go down the passageway.
Right. But
Rupert has already kind of gone back to the tent. You see him kind of on the ridge, kind of overlooking the things, overlooking the operation, but he just kind of went for more tea. He may be American, but he does like tea.
And she'll talk to the workers and be like, we need some of you to come and open a passage.
No, Miss Schultz. Cursed.
Cursed? How cursed? What curse?
No. Dark.
What was the word he said?
Dark.
Dark. And she'll just kind of like, huh.
Dark. He says Dark King.
You will not go in? She's just like reaffirming, like, because she knows as soon as she goes to tell James, he's gonna be like, well, are you sure? Yeah.
And like he kind of like side eyes James, like nervously.
Hmm.
You should stop. Should stop.
Who is the Dark King?
Forbidden.
Without taking her eyes off of the worker that she's talking to, she'll switch to English and no, they're not going in there.
Well, why
And
not?
And she's trying to get it like,
Don't they understand, like, they're getting paid to do exactly this?
oh, they do. Oh, they do indeed. No, something, it's cursed. They're sitting on cursed. Dark King, and
they've been
she
on cursed
starts
ever
to,
since we started this.
and like without even like
Acknowledging
letting
him.
finish. Yeah, she just already turned like Dark King, and then just started going back down the hall to find Fred to get back to Frederick. And as she's like getting through the crawl space and just emerging, as she's coming into the room for him.
As you kind of head back to the seal and before you enter the passageway, you see that
Yes.
a small collection of jewelry has begun to pile up outside the hole.
At least you're consistent. And she'll go through the hole, and as she's emerging, just Frederick.
He has like a handful of like jewels and like a whole like sacred statue underneath his like arm.
Right.
What is it?
Oh, guys. I just see Nathan from the Mummy just gathering up everything again.
Yes.
Sorry. Frederick, can you
What is it,
put
George?
stuff down for just a moment?
Dude,
Have you heard of a Dark King? The Dark King?
well, I don't need to remind you that we're in Egypt.
I understand.
Wait.
But specifically,
It does not ring a bell. I'm sorry. Now, if you don't mind, excuse me. And he kind of he kind of takes his like shirt full of like jewelry and like crouches into the hole and bustles. Give me a moment. I'll be right back.
she'll kind of just yeah, she'll kind of just like and just go back towards the start heading across the room towards the north door because it's just holding her attention. She needs to know what's in there.
Okay.
And she'll kind of call back. James, could you come through here again, please?
There's like a bit of a murmur and and like a exchange, a bit of a tinkle of jewelry, as they awkwardly exchange positions, and James Walden kind of like you see his head pull out, and he has a pickaxe with him. Yes, ma'am.
And she'll kind of turn to make sure he looks ready for like like actually take down the door. She's like, "Oh, good. Well, with Mr. Merriweather back at camp and my uncle indisposed, I'd rather not enter this last chamber quite by myself."
Fair enough.
And she'll just kind of, she's trying to like build up her nerve because she's excited and anxious, but she knows something's wrong. Something's very wrong here. So she also almost needs his presence to like be brave enough to walk.
Like, I can clear the room for you, mate. He kind of takes the lead and kind of grabs the lantern, drops the pick next to the door, grabs the lantern kind of out of your hand, and heads forward, stepping in.
She'll kind of stay close-ish, but enough so that he has time to
just
do
wait
what he's
here.
got to do.
Doesn't look like that big of a room anyway. And he takes a step into the threshold, and he kind of steps back and steps in, and you see him kind of retreat back a little bit to the left side of the room. As he steps in, he's like, "Oh, okay.
What is it?" And she'll kind of step closer to the threshold.
You just see a bit of a mat and some tattered clothes as you take a step forward, and he's like, "Well, he's been dead for a while. He ain't gonna hurt nobody."
Well, we found our grave robber.
And you step in, and the lantern light reveals a mummified corpse slumped on a large mat at the base of a shrine. Clay funerary cones line the walls. To the north and south are two large murals that are painted on those walls. You've already seen a bit of the north wall mural. Below one of those murals, you'll find a small hieroglyphic inscription. On the east wall, where the corpse is, there's a shrine that stands about 5 foot tall of an inverted golden ankh, an upside-down ankh. Hundreds of golden tendrils reach out from the symbol, up, while the tentacles remain motionless. In the flicker of the lantern light gives the illusion of movement and dancing, and it feels distinctly unsettling to look at.
Yeah, she kind of shivers as she gets in everything.
Go ahead and roll me a sanity check. Oh, I missed one too. We're going to need one for the statues too. I forgot.
Okay, statues.
We'll do the statues.
And current room.
Okay, statues, nothing. Current room, 1.
1, okay. So this will just go down to 79.
Oh no, so current room 0. And that was for the corpse and the weird statue.
Yeah.
So yes. That is that. He kind of I don't know what to make of this. Creative
I'm gonna
ones,
take a...
these Egyptians.
No, that's not a... And she'll kind of gesture as she's looking at the inscription at the bottom of the mural. She'll kind of gesture toward the statue, vaguely, and just, that's not a symbol I recognize from anything directly Egyptian. And she'll try to... I'm gonna try to translate that inscription on the bottom.
Go ahead and give me a Egyptian hieroglyphics roll.
Wow.
66? That's not too bad. I'll give you a bonus die for recognizing one of the symbols and taking etching earlier. Hello,
Okay.
Runa. How are you doing?
D10? D6?
D10.
D10. 9.
Want to make that
I
luck?
think that gave me... Okay, that would bring it down to... It would be how much luck?
Math.
4?
6.
6.
9. It would be 60. You need 6 luck.
Yeah, I'll use 6 luck.
Okay. Not too bad. Not too bad. Just doing a
20
thing. Right in the middle of our session. So yes, as you kind of look at this, you are able to decipher it. And it says, "A trial has been passed. Forever they shall be tied to this earth through their faithful beating heart, strong of body, awaiting the return of their master."
And I'm gonna
And this is below
Right.
a mural, of course.
right. I'm gonna write it down
Here you go.
in her journal. Um,
I gave you
and
a journal
also
entry with that.
okay. And then she'll do like a description of the mural in the room as she's kind of looking around and
As
getting it in.
you look at the southern one, which is right above the inscription,
Mhm.
the mural depicts a large painting of a smiling, black-robed pharaoh holding an oversized set of scales, on which a heart is being weighed against a platter of dead animals. A kneeling figure with the head of a wolf has a chest wound that is being stretched open by two small men. There are some hieroglyphs below the painting, of course, which you've already read. You have Annex Mural South in your general now?
Well, it has- And I'm gonna take a look at the scene with the mummy, the mummified person here.
As you look at it, you realize that this body is only maybe 5 years old. It's been dried out, rotted, the clothes are tattered. But more or less, the clothes are modern, even has a satchel on them.
And is there anything around the statue?
The statue itself?
Mm-hmm.
No, actually. doo-doo. There is the shrine holds countless pieces of small ancient incense in small compartments honeycombed throughout its base. Nearly 100 small Ushakti statues surround the base of the shrine.
And she'll kind of stand and slowly move her way back as she's looking around the room. Make her way back over to James and start moving towards the doorway. I think it's time that we leave. As she's like clutching the journal, like kind of like this number up against her. Just, yeah.
As you kind of look at the body a little bit, you see the skeleton's rubs are crushed, and the skull's fractured. Probably both of those injuries probably led to death. You can make a first aid or a medicine roll.
I don't think I have either of those.
What is higher?
I know. I'm looking. For first aid, let's try that. Boom. Fail. I am not doing well.
You know it died in the last 10 years. That's
right.
not it.
Well, I mean, if the body is roughly
And
only 5 years of decay, it's only been here for about 5 years, at least.
Right. But if you roll a spot hidden, go ahead and do that.
Okay, yeah, that one I'm a little better at. Let's see.
As far as for dating the body, obviously you're gonna have a little trouble with that.
There we go. Spot hidden. Yay!
Make sure you check that off. Any
Yes.
other
What was the other
skills
one
you
I
success?
succeeded at?
You did luck on one of them. It was higher. It was Egyptian. But that being said,
That was an idea.
you do notice that there are small indentations in the bones, similar to animal teeth marks. And as I said, the satchel seems to be kind of weighty that is on next to the body. There's also a northern mural that is a little bit different than the southern one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, I wanted to look at all the murals. Oh,
Okay.
whoops, I zoomed in too much.
So the northern mural
Yeah.
depicts a sickening scene of an Egyptian city being attacked by an army of horrific beings. There are two notable types of creature: those with the body of men and the heads of animals, who wield various weapons, and those with the bodies of animals and the heads of men, prowl viciously. Black tendrils burst from the ground and into the sky, tearing the city and its occupants apart. Some of the creatures eat corpses that have been laid upon tables, while others frolic in the chaos. A pharaoh, robed entirely in black, is depicted with an impossibly dark face, seated atop a pyramid-like throne. Borne by the hybrid monsters, he is being carried through the horrific scene. Go ahead and roll me a sanity check.
One?
One sanity loss.
Okay.
So now you scoop up the journal, the sketchbook,
Yeah.
and James Walden's like, "Everything okay, man?"
We should definitely be leaving.
I don't think your uncle's gonna go for that.
Whatever it is that the men are afraid of out there, it's definitely something. And she's just like trying to decipher in her own head the mural itself, and just they don't just make pictures for nothing. It's always a story.
Yeah, that's very true. That being said,
No, yeah.
as you kind of begin packing up your things, grabbing the satchel, he'll be like, "All right, well, I'm gonna try to get into this thing." And as you both walk out into the antechamber, the larger chamber, he begins going. Just grabs the pick and immediately starts going and ticking against the seal on the east wall.
Kind of being in her own head, trying to, figure out what is exactly going on, because there's no recordings that she knows of any Dark King, especially nothing like this. Let alone the upside down Ankh with the tendrils and all the imagery that she's seen so far. And it takes a couple of whacks with the pick before she realizes what the sound registers through her own thoughts, and she'll kind of stop and whip her head around. James, stop! No! And
He kind of like, what?
Something here isn't right. I don't think I want to know what's on the other side of that door.
Well, if it's anything like this, we need to see what's on the other side.
It's not unlikely to have a second treasure room. However, what I saw in that other room, those murals, the hieroglyphics, and something's not right. We need to leave. Now.
Miss Schultz, I understand that you have been getting along with the locals, and maybe a little bit of their superstition has bled into you by proximity, but there's nothing in this tomb. Everything's dead. Even the duped grave robber was dead. Like, come on.
thing about that grave robber, Mr. Walden, is the fact that it isn't that very old. Those are modern clothes on him.
Well, he had a bad run of luck. Can I tell you?
Before we got here, he's half mummified.
The desert has a way of doing that. It dries up the corpses.
Mr. Walden, I highly recommend that we leave now. And she just begins to walk towards the exit.
As you do so, go ahead and roll me a listen check. As the tinkle of jewelry continues to Frederick continues to go laden with jewelry
I'm hearing
back
nothing.
and forth. You as this occurs,
Guys, I might die here.
As this occurs, and you Frederick kind of bustles out of the hole, and he's like, "Oh, Georgia, how does what's in the other room? Anything good?"
We need to leave now. And she just kind of like smiles, like, you know, everything's fine. We need to go.
Like,
we should go.
We just had tea, not even an hour ago, Georgia. We can't give up now.
I'm not saying
I understand
anything
if you're
about giving up.
Oh, are the heat's getting to you? Are you feeling a little?
Frederick, listen.
Are the vapors getting to you? I know that women's vapors are very, very sensitive. If you need to go cool off in the tent for a little while, I understand. Absolutely. Go get yourself a drink. We'll be here.
Come with me. And she just takes him by the hand and just pulls him to the back chamber. So remember that Dark King I was telling you about just a few minutes ago?
Oh, did you? Oh my! And he goes in and as he oh my! That's a dead man.
Yes, it is. He's also only roughly about 5 years old in death. See? And she'll kind of gesture towards his
He looks at least 40.
Yes, but he's only 5 years dead. Roughly. The clothes that he's wearing are fairly, well, as new as they can be for a dead man. Also, and she'll...
That's our grave robber.
Huh?
That's our grave robber.
To be presumed.
Well,
looks like animals got
He's kind of an inappropriate place.
Yeah, of course. And she'll kind of, go to the statue. It's a rather unusual looking Ankh, don't you think, Frederick?
That's strange, but...
Nothing we've seen before recorded. This isn't normal Egyptian, Frederick. Something's wrong here.
Never before recorded. Same. Do you know what this means?
Nothing that I've seen in any of the books.
Do you know what this means, Georgia? We'll be rich! We'll be famous!
I believe something very dangerous here, Frederick.
Oh, that's wonderful. This is good news, don't you understand?
Yes and no.
It's unprecedented. A discovery that will change the course of history.
I need to find Mr. Merryworth. She just kind of is already this was a mistake and I need to leave because they're not listening.
What was this about a dark pharaoh?
Oh, now you want to listen.
You seem so bothered. Might as well.
The men were saying that the area is cursed. The Dark King.
Well, they say it was sacred. Right?
Cursed. With all the imagery that we've been seeing here, plaster on the floor, fairly new plaster at that. The mummies with the animal heads. And then the mural here, and she'll gesture to the north wall. And also the south wall, because it has the big image of the pharaoh.
He kind of looks it up and down and is like,
there's something to their fear here, Frederick. And I'm not one to dismiss it right now, not with this. I think we should leave. We can record it and everything, it's fine. But I think we'd best leave.
As, it's like, well, we must document it at least. And take most of the treasure. I understand maybe not a chariot. Or the canoe might be a little too much. But we should take and document the rest of the treasure.
We need to do so quickly. Don't want to spend much more time here.
Fair enough.
And she's just like nervously looking around at everything here, and just another shiver hits her. And she'll just leave through the treasure room.
As you,
maybe it's the tomb giving her shivers at this point. It's
as you kind of get this chill up your spine. You're not sure if it's the chill that actually makes you shake, or if it's the tomb itself.
Mm-hmm.
And after a moment, you realize it's the tomb itself, as James Walden's picking stops suddenly, and you hear a of a large stone moving. Where are you in the room at this point?
She would have been just walking out of the ritual room.
The annex?
Yeah.
Shrine room?
Yes, the annex. My apologies.
You're good. As you kind of see this, James immediately drops his pick as he sees the whole block seal push out towards him. We need to go. We need to go.
I did say that, and she begins to like quickly moving for the crawl space.
As you are the first to the crawl space, James goes over to so many people. James goes over to Frederick and he's like, Frederick, we need to go. We need to go now. It's like, what? My dear man takes him by under the arm and just wrenches him forward. As you begin to move forward, you hear him dragging him across the sand on the floor. But the oh my, what is that? And he's like, it's time to go, and it kind of echoes down the chamber. And as you kind of make your way out into the passageway, you bustle, and you hear a bit of a fervor and panic go at the end of the passageway as you begin to go.
As she's making her way down the passageway, she starts yelling in Egyptian, "Run! Run!"
Go ahead and roll. Oh no, you won't. You don't need to look to check. And you hear the stone block go, and the men are like, ah! And you hear the one who was talking to you before, the worker. He screams, "Sorry, ma'am!" As you hear a and the door comes down in front of you.
Oh shit, I'm locked in. Okay, fuck. And as she's like making it to the door, and like he's like, "I'm sorry," but she's like, no, wait, and then the door slams shut. She's just like, "Damn it!" Shit. And slowly turn around back toward the chamber. Just like holding the bag and just back against the door, just like.
Did those fucking bastards just block us in? Fuck. You hear Frederick just kind of begin panicking. James like, ma'am, get in here. We need to at least stick together and come up with a plan. I hear something on the other side of this door. Now.
She begins to go through the satchel.
Okay.
hoping that there's something that might be useful.
As you kind of practically dump out the satchel onto the ground, the half-light of the tomb's cast into darkness other than the sources of light you have around you, the 2 lanterns and a torch you have. In this, as you kind of dump the satchel, a trowel, a flask, a passport, a stick of dynamite, and a leather-bound journal all fall out.
I go for the journal and flip it open and start trying to find something.
As you kind of start flitting through the pages frantically, kind of looking for something, you notice that the journal entries kind of date from 1908 to about 1912, 1914. 1914, my bad. And in that stretch, it's a lot of notes about archaeology and like various pages. Useless, nothing to do with this tomb. But as you kind of go forward, the sorry, I forgot to give you this. Oop. Oh. There you go. As you kind of flit to the back, you find the last 4 entries that seem to be more to do with what's going on right now. And the first of those entries occurs on the 23rd of August, 1914. And that is currently in your book.
Cool. Make big, thank you.
Alright. Sorry. Getting the handouts all put out. Alright, there we go. This queued up. "23rd of August, 1914. Word has reached us." Oh, I'm sorry. It is in German, by the way. Luckily.
Okay.
You know German.
Fluent.
Fluent in it, actually.
It's supposedly they'll see if the rolls actually give me anything good later.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But anyway, 23rd of August, 1914. Word has reached us of fierce fighting in the north. Close to the Suez. Sorry, let me restart.
Oh, you're fine.
Word has reached us of fierce fighting north, close to the Suez Canal. Our men are scared enough as it is, without fear of being caught in a crossfire. Their superstitions have delayed the dig multiple times, and I do not care for any further stoppages. We dig tirelessly through the loose sand and rock. I feel we are close.
She'll flip to the next.
20th of September, 1914. Today was glorious. We have found the entrance. Removing the door was difficult, but the laborers were able to create a pulley system that allowed us entry.
Pulley.
More work greets us inside. Limestone chips choke the entirety of the tunnel. I've halted the cleanup until I've surveyed the structure and documented what we have learned thus far. Sutton thinks my meticulous records are unnecessary and time-consuming.
Well, thank you for your note-taking.
Goes on. Continues on the 17th of December, 1914.
December.
Finally, the tunnel is clear. Some of the workers have taken great interest in the hieroglyphics in the passageway. Today we remove the last of the debris and make our way through the sealed archway. With the stonework unstable as it is, the explosives we brought will be useless. Luckily, it should only be a day or so before the workers chisel their way into the antechamber. And the 4th and final entry. 19th December, 1914. The workers turned on us. Sutton is dead. They killed him. I'm gonna hide here for a couple hours and hope they will gone. This place will not be my tomb. I'll gather some jewelry and make my escape after nightfall. With some luck, I can use it to barter for passage out of this godforsaken desert. And then seemingly entered a little later, and kind of scrawled, I hear something. I'm not alone.
She'll kind of like flip about a little bit, like after that, like trying to anything? No, damn it. And you said there was the dynamite, or well, the explosive, a trowel, and what else was in the satchel?
Passport.
Just the book, those three things.
Passport.
Passport. I'm gonna look at the passport.
Passport belongs to Sasha Karner, born 1870, place of residence Berlin.
And she'll kind of gather everything, just haphazardly shoveling it back into the satchel and quickly making her way back to the other two men. It was Sasha. What? Sorry.
Sasha Karner.
Karner. Frederick, did you hear of a dig roughly about a few years back from the Germans? Looking around here-ish?
No, I haven't heard any of that. I know there's plenty of archaeologists that worked in the area. I'm sure there's probably something like that.
Well, apparently they found this tomb. Sasha, and kind of shows the passport, I believe, is who we found in that annex there. They seem to have had similar troubles we have with the workers. And she's like, because the noise is happening on the other side, so her eyes keep like flitting as she's trying to like pass the information on to Frederick. So I'm not entirely sure what happened to Sasha, but I believe that
I think that might be important, but we can't discuss it now. We need to hide. And
she's like
he kind of slinks, and as the stone pushes out and the darkness is illuminated as a hallway, the plaster seal grinds open, and you see a matted, mangy head of a humongous jackal emerge from the burial chamber, its eyes glowing red with a burning hatred for all life. Its torso is that of a gargantuan, muscular man, draped in decaying linen. Its skin is slick with pus and bile, which pours out through open sores, covering its body. It prowls into the antechamber on all fours, sniffing the air sharply as you wait merely feet away in bated breath and next to a dead man and two very scared lawyers. As it crawls forward, it makes its way to the center room and arches up onto its hind legs. Fills the chamber, echoing.
she just kind of like cringes to the sound, trying not to like.
Go ahead and roll me a sanity check. It kicks over one of the lanterns that's in the antechamber. And you will lose, I believe it's 1 sanity. Yeah, 1 sanity. as it crawls past you, and you hear the it lean against the seal and shove it out of the way. You hear it crack and crumble as it makes its way into the passageway.
She'll begin,
Rupert's just like having a whole moment.
Rupert, I thought, was up at the camp.
You're right, my bad. Frederick.
Yeah.
Frederick.
I was like, wait a minute.
Frederick is having a whole moment.
Yeah, George is like trying to think of something, anything. Frederick. I want to get another crack at the hieroglyphics to see if I can decipher anything else, but it's there's no time.
Time's gone. That being said, with this open now, the map changes a little bit.
The map changes. Oh, ooh. Okay.
So right now, oh, I'm sorry, there was only 4 burial chambers for the dogs. But anyway,
Oh, okay.
right now,
Not 6. That's
in the hallway, the seal to the hallway has been broken.
Right.
The passageway, and the creature is in there at this moment. As you kind of formulate your plot and start making your move, what are you doing? You're in the annex.
Oh, we're in the annex. Okay, I thought we were in the gold chamber.
Moved into the antechamber and then into
Right,
the hall.
right. Well, we can't stay here. Hopefully. James. Must be a chamber back behind that door, yes. Provided that's where that thing came from.
Didn't come from nowhere.
Frederick, look at me. Frederick. Because he's like losing his shit. Focus.
Hi, George.
I need you here. These tombs tend to have secret passages and ways out, yes?
The pyramids maybe, but not the tombs. The tombs are one way. Is the air getting thin in here?
If there was some way that we could, I don't know, lure the beast back into its chamber? Could cause a cave-in. She pulls out the, at least like doesn't like whip it out, like, you know, like shows them the explosive in the satchel. They didn't want to risk doing any explosive work in here because they didn't want it to cave in on them. If we could get it back into the room, but we need to be able to get out.
Would try to maybe blow the door. Cause a cave-in. If we moved quick enough, we might be able to make it out. Cave-ins don't happen immediately. Quick,
we still
but
have
not
to.
instantaneous.
But that beast, we can't let it. We can't run the risk of it getting out behind us.
Have to lure it back into the chamber or something. At least give it the slip. Not sure how we do that. I mean, did you see all those wounds and sores on it? Maybe we can kill it. It bleeds. It'll die, right?
It's like trying to go one-on-one with a grizzly bear. I can't imagine trying to survive against something like that.
Uh-oh, ma'am, not to be rude or anything, but he kind of pulls his vest down, and you see his side-strapped pistol, and it's like, I was come with backup plan.
Well, but what if it doesn't work? The beast must be resilient. It's been in here for how long? All those wounds on it? What has it survived on? And if it's a servant of, and she like gestures to the mural, then it may not be exactly mortal.
Well, I don't know
Beast
about
of death.
I don't know much about gods or demon or anything about this. I do know how to kill things. I mean, worst case scenario, at least hold it off while you get out.
Can't just let you do that.
I haven't seen any other options. With the information we have, the best plan. Hey, Frederick.
I don't like it.
He's like, Fred.
Yeah.
Fred! He just smacks him really fucking hard. What? I need you to not be yourself. 15 minutes. When you do that... What do you do you hear me? Yes, his face is very red now.
Oh yeah, he's like hysterical.
He's from just being like the hand weld that's on his face. Yeah, he's just like, yes, okay. You're gonna take one of those statue's sword thingamabobs, and you're gonna do your best to not die. You're gonna take that axe thing, and you're gonna do your best not to die. We're gonna roll around, and hopefully, as it rolls through the chamber, we can kind of rotate properly, slip. Let's move now. They're coming back.
On that note, I think this is a good Cliffy to pause for a moment.
Yes. With that, we will take a break. We will be back here in just a few minutes. I'll leave you with some tunes, and we'll see you soon.
Bear back.
Hello, and welcome back. We are back from our break at the more or less midpoint of our adventure here. A large creature has exited the burial chamber and prowled past the party who was waiting at the north annex. A plan has been made.
Doggo.
It's a big doggo.
Big doggo.
Big doggo with man body and the size of a truck. As it breaks through that seal, through the passageway, and heads to the gate, heads to the door, James whispers, "Now's the time." And he takes a step out, and
I didn't hear what he said.
oh, sorry. He says, "Now's the time." I forgot I had to shout scream.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so he says, "Now's the time," and he steps out into the annex. The kind of half-lit torch he grabs off the ground and lets relight. Hands it to he holds it in his hand with his pistol in his other hand, and directs you to take the weapons.
As as they're about to run across the room to get the weapons, she's going to stop. A mixed emotions going through her at the moment, and almost hates herself for saying it, but James, I need a bit of a favor. I need you to try to stall as long as possible if the creature doesn't find us for as long as it can, so we can poke around the back.
I thought we were getting out of here.
We are, absolutely. Just a quick minute. If we could get something out of the back a bit significant. I'm sounding like Frederick right now, but please.
Do it quickly. Quietly. Get into the
And
barrel
she
chamber.
just like makes it over to the weapons, grabs one, and like gestures Frederick to go to follow her down into the burial chamber.
He immediately kind of coming in. James Walden kind of follows, and he grabs. He kind of he'll drop the torch and he'll grab a lantern and bring it down to a low light, bring it into the burial chamber behind you guys. And as you walk into the burial chamber itself, the large sarcophagus almost fills the entire room. 7 wooded outer shell casings have been torn apart, their splintered remains lying strewn about, revealing an open sarcophagus made of gold. A pair of wooden oars stands on the far corner of the chamber. There's a bit of a image. There's imagery on the wooden panels, kind of fractured, split from shards of it.
Is there anything that I can pick out in a glance?
There's painted scenes of atrocious, blasphemous, sacrificial ceremonies on the larger pieces of wood. You can see figures are being depicted embalming, screaming men and women, horrifically being used as fuel for ceremonial fires. The inner golden sarcophagus is enormous and in the shape of a sleeping figure. The lid has the image of a face screaming in agony.
Is there anything on the walls themselves as we pass through?
These walls are blank.
They're blank. Okay.
But you do see that to the south there's a treasure room kind of glinting in the dim light of your lantern.
And she'll kind of lean into to Frederick and just very quietly say, "Now we're going to look around and maybe grab 1 or 2 pieces, and then we need to leave quickly and quietly."
Sudden change of heart.
You're rubbing off on me. Now go!
Come around. And he kind of slinks into the treasury. You hear shit, and the light goes out, leaving the whole room in darkness. As you hear coming into the antechamber. As the sound kind of gets a little louder and just begins to drift away, feel on your shoulder. A hand grab you and here. And you feel something metal link into your torso and your abdomen.
She'll, what is it?
It's a lantern.
Oh,
It's a little
she's
hot.
like, crap.
As you touch the glass, you realize it's hot, and it's actually the lantern.
Just like adjusts her grab.
Go into the room and back on.
Say, one more time.
Go into the room and turn that back on.
She'll nod, get into the treasure room and turn it on very as low as she can, so they can kind of see.
The dimmest glow illuminates the treasure room as you see the silhouette of James in the threshold, his gun kind of held at ready, and Frederick kind of scrambling in the dark. The room itself is filled with another assortment of treasures, fragile artwork, sculptures, ceramics, small boats and chariots made from gold, and even a model of an entire Egyptian city sitting here. Go ahead and roll me a spot hidden.
Yeah.
And we're going to give you a penalty die for the start.
Oh no. So it'll be a D10 penalty?
Yep.
Okay, so spot hidden.
Doesn't
And
matter, but
that penalty.
I want to see it.
Jeez.
I want to see it.
Okay.
Okay?
Fair.
If it's 10, then it's a normal success.
10. No, it's
No,
a 4.
it's a 4. Okay, then it's a hard success. So, as you kind of look around in the dim light, there's a lot of faintly glinting and glittering objects and baubles around, but in the corner you see a rather mundane stone chest made of limestone.
She will go and look at it.
As you go to look at it, you hear the stone slab move over. And kind of, again, slam off to the side. It sounded like it got moved from the threshold. And from inside the burial chamber, you see the head of the giant jackal come in, sniffing the air sharply. As it rounds the corner, James has leveled his gun, and you see him just shake a little bit. He holds his form for a moment as you sit there, seeing all this inside. Go ahead and roll me a sanity check.
Okay.
One more sanity. Go ahead and roll me a stealth roll.
Nerves of steel, this one. Jesus Christ. Oh, my stealth is not great. Nope. I'm not.
Do you want to spend 47 luck?
I don't have 47 luck.
I'll give you a bonus die on that.
Oh,
because it's so
God,
fucking
I don't
bad.
even.
No.
I don't even have 37 luck.
So, what you see in the half-light of this lantern is the red eyes, and just the bare silhouette against the tannish, dark brown background of the tomb. And almost as you walk over to the stone thing and catch it in the threshold next to you. So let's just to put you on a spot, let's put you here.
Yeah.
This is the stone tomb right
Oh, God.
now. Walden's here. Whatever this thing is here.
Oh, okay.
It's definitely, you feel in your heart as it flips inside your chest that it looks right at you. And before you can even count your heartbeats, it moves in. There is a quick fuck and out. Before you even hear the sound, almost, you see a flash of gunshots as it moves in.
The gunshots will like shock because she just like froze in place like a rabbit, just like, oh God. And she like snapped back when the gunshots go off. As she'll just throw the box into the satchel.
It's a stone chest.
Oh, it's a stone chest. I thought it was like a small box.
Stone chest.
Never mind. She'll yell for, she'll like call over to Frederick. Frederick, we need to go now.
He scrambles forward and rounds the corner, seeing the beast as well. See how he does.
Well, it's her, I feel.
Oh, that's not right.
Oh. Nice.
He stumbles a little bit, but catches himself as the gunshots go off. And it moves in on Walden. You get to the chest. You are looking at the situation, and as it moves towards the threshold where Walden's carrying, you don't see a way out of this. At least not without going right past that thing. Hoping it doesn't notice the thing that it already noticed. That seems like a risk. I will inform you of this risk.
Dynamite won't blow a big enough ordeal to
No.
even connect that hole.
Nope. No way. You'd collapse it before you hit anything significant. As it moves in, you stand there looking at the chest. It moves in on Walden and strikes him. You're as a bit of spray goes and paints the walls a little darker. He struggles and rolls a little bit to the east, into the corner, trying to use the sarcophagus as to kind of protect himself as the beast kind of moves in like this.
Yeah. Oh.
Go ahead and roll me an idea roll.
Like, I kind of want to, like, use the opportunity to kind of, like... But I'm like, no, that only works in, like, movies. This is Call of Cthulhu. I had an idea.
This thing's huge and reminds you of the south mural. Go ahead and check the south mural.
Yeah, I was just grabbing that.
As this occurs, you see it kind of turn. And face in as James runs in, and another round of gunshots are fired off. It roars and swings wildly, hitting him again, and you hear him fly and get cast into the sand on the floor away as it turns around. There's two things that occur to you after reading that.
Mm-hmm.
Art and scales is weird. The fact that his chest has been ripped open is weird. And the fact that it's weighing against dead animals is weird. Also, the fact that he's ginormous is accurate into this kind of depiction. So that might be about him. Then something else comes to mind. You're right in front of a chest which was limestone, which Frederick said that Canopic Jars were in.
Yeah, I was actually just...
So, thinking this...
Because I also reread the hieroglyphics.
You go to push this, go ahead and use a strength roll.
Yeah. Oh no. I'm gonna need Frederick's help, I think. Making a strength roll. How do I do? Oh gosh. When it matters.
Just... The thing dips into the sand, and in front of you there are 5 Canopic Jars. 4 are topped with an animal head, a falcon, a crocodile, an ibis, and a wolf. The fifth is carved with an inverted ankh jutting up from its lid. Go ahead and roll me a history, archaeology, or occult roll. It's your choice. That choice is all yours, and yours alone.
Yeah. Let me see which one actually looks the best. Yeah, I thought it would be. Okay. What the heck? Oh my gosh. Why? Why does it hate me? Why does Roll20 hate me?
You know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to give you 2 bonus die. You have Frederick next to you, and you've already done... Things are connecting.
Yeah.
Deductions have been made.
So
Pieces
2d10.
are being... 2d10, yeah. Do you want to use luck?
I don't have much. I need, like...
You don't. This is, honestly, just for information, so if you don't want it, you don't need it.
No, I know. 12 luck?
You don't need this information
I know.
to make an action.
I know. Is there anything... Do I remember there being scales anywhere in the tomb itself? In
Scales?
here or in the antechamber?
Not actual scales. You do remember the depiction of scales on the southern mural that the heart was weighed against with the animals.
Right.
I will, however, let you look over to your left and see that the fucking monsters kind of just turned around. Walden's doing his best.
Okay. So here's what I'm thinking, okay? Because I'm not really seeing another way. So what I want to do is grab the jars.
Grabbing the jar.
Making sure that I absolutely grab that wolf head one. I want to get around and get into the annex to get to the Ankh statue.
Okay. May I ask, and just so that I can give you the result you want, what are you attempting to do here? What is the idea?
Getting the Canopic Jars to the shrine within the annex room in hopes of doing it, in hopes that it causes something to happen to stop the creature.
Okay. Cool. So, just in the sake of, like, playing
Sorry,
this out,
words are
right?
hard.
You're fine. So, just in order of setting the scene, there's a monster right next to you in the next room. James is doing his best, but actively losing. He's on the other side of the monster. You can't even see him at the next moment, but he's definitely on the ground. Frederick's next to you, just waiting to, like, either die or die, probably. He's not really... He's just looking for direction, maybe. He's a little lost in his own head. He's got some things going on. Just holding his Kopesh, and he's just, like... just kind of twisting the handle. No, it's the battle axe. He has the battle axe. Anyway. You've kind of dumped your weapon. You don't even need it. You haven't really... You're just kind of going through Canopic Jars. So... in this... thing just goes like this. This goes through your head in an instant. One last gunshot goes off. And then you hear a click, click. Wait, that's not supposed to... One gunshot. And then you hear a click. Fuck. And the monster kind of moves in on him. What are you touching? What are you doing?
Did I manage to grab the jars before, like, by this point?
We did a lot of meta, like, thought process there. I just wanted to reframe it in action. So you are currently grabbing the jars. I'm just curious, like, falcon, crocodile, ibis wolf, ankh. How are you carrying these things? Are you just doing the whole, like, Frederick style? Just shirt basket.
Well, I have the satchel. I don't know how big that is, though.
Oh, you can probably get most of them in there. I have to hold like one in your hand.
Okay. I'm wondering if I should be brave. Oh God.
It's called Cthulhu.
Okay.
Would your character be brave?
I don't know.
She's a professor.
She is. But her uncle is useless, and she knows this.
So we'll make a move, and we'll say she's grabbing the Canopic Jars, beginning to shove them in, one by one. Grabs the falcon, the crocodile, the ibis. The wolf she feels is important. She puts that aside. And then, grabbing the final inverted ankh, she goes to put it in the bag and... Wait a minute. Why is it vibrating?
Oh God, I don't want to do this.
As this happens, you hear a Wilhelm-esque scream as James Walden's last breath is extinguished. With a slight
Okay, the jar is vibrating. Ay. Okay. Would I be able to... Can I slip behind the sarcophagus while it's busy? With the Ankh sarcophagus in hand? Or at least in the thing, in the satchel?
You go to leave the threshold, and Frederick's like grabs you by the shoulder and just mouths, basically wordless, like breathlessly mouths to you, "What are you doing?" I'm not sure if you heard me.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
I kind of read the lips a little bit.
Fair. What are you doing?
This it's important. I have to go to the annex.
It's so important. Why's the annex important?
No, I can't read you.
What? Sorry. What? Why is the annex so important? What?
I don't know. It has to do with the shrine. Look. And she'll show him the top of the Canopic jar with the upside down Ankh. And she'll like touch it to his hand, and so that he can feel it like vibrating.
He like goes to grab it and like feels that, and is like, and he grabs the top of it and opens it up, and inside there's a still beating heart.
Hang on. Where'd the thingy go? There it is. And she'll like see the beating heart
Go ahead and roll me a
and
sanity
like,
check. Oh yes, go
okay.
ahead.
And
This may color your reaction.
this may color my reaction, yes. Let's see. Haha.
Hit one more sanity.
Okay.
And
And
how does...
with the shock. Oh no.
He just drops it.
Oh, can I try to catch it?
Go ahead and roll me a dex check, yeah.
Okay.
And as he does this,
Oh god. Oh,
you catch it, and he stumbles a bit, and you hear the beast round. As you catch it, is that a hard success? Yes, it is. You feel it. You don't catch the lid. The lid's gone. The lid's on the ground. But like you catch the thing, and it's pulse in your hand is felt.
Okay, well that definitely that changes what I was going to do. So like while she's looking at it, she's like, her hands are obviously a little full. So she's just like screaming. She's like, "What did they say? What did they say?" Through the beating heart is tied to and she'll kind of like shift to hold it in one hand as she like digs into the bag for the trowel.
Okay.
Oh god, I really hope this works. And she's going to use the trowel to try to destroy the heart.
As you kind of have this trepidation, and Frederick yelps, look over to just in your peripheral, you see the looming thing coming in. Go ahead and just roll me one more sanity check.
Okay. Like, let there be no mistake. She
One
is fucking
sanity.
terrified right now.
One sanity. All right. Fear and losing sanity aren't the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyway, so she has this thing. It's prowling in. It's horrible drool kind of dripping onto the sand.
Almost
The
feel
smell.
the hot breath on it.
And as you do this, Frederick goes wild and just goes in with the axe and tries to do his best. If you weren't focused, you'd probably see some very interesting things, but really all you see is a blur of red, the black of his jacket, and the matted, greasy fur of the jackal head, bounding with the pus covered skin. Trowel goes in. How did describe this? Describe how you do this.
She very shakily, she's like holding this, hearing everything going on behind her, like knowing this creature, and she's next. And I mean, this is, if this doesn't work, well, she's dead anyway, so may as well try. So she takes the trowel side this way, holding the handle almost like a knife, and just stabs it right into the heart itself, hoping for something to happen with that first hit.
Almost like a mortar and pestle. You plunge the trowel into the Canopic jar containing the heart. And as you do so, pus, blood, and black rot just erupts from the heart. as you take the first stab, you realize that it still continues, but the monster reels back. And as you do this, he fully in goes and sees. You feel the red eyes burning into you.
He'll just start like stabbing. It was hearing that there was a reaction and seeing an actual something happening within the jar. She just starts just chopping away.
As you continue chopping and stabbing, hacking away at this, it lurches forward. Frederick kind of going in front, completely gets ripped into with teeth. Just to give you the scale of what's happening, this is about his torso. This is the monster's mouth. As he gets bitten, and you hear his bones and ribs crack next to you, and he screams. You're kind of knocked back with the Canopic Jar in your hand, but you're still just.
Yeah, at this point, like, she's just like crying and just sobbing and just desperate for hoping this is going to work.
And as you continue to stab and plunge and chop this heart up, you are covered in all sorts of disgusting ichor.
Whatever this is.
And the monster stops, collapses to its knees, and reaches out towards you as you kind of retreat into the corner and slumps over, completely trapping your Uncle Frederick in his dying breath underneath the weight of its corpse.
He like just kind of stares at it for a moment. And Frederick, there's no more Frederick. At this point, right?
Frederick's like, kind of just, all you see is just an arm and his head.
Yeah, there's no more. Frederick's gone.
He's gasping and trying to breathe as much as he can, but there's a lot of blood absorbing into the sand around him.
She'll kind of like very careful, like she's like hurriedly kind of trying to get over there, but also being like very cautious because this creature may not be dead. She hopes it's dead. She's pretty sure it's dead, but it
twitches.
It might move.
Spasms.
Yeah, she like jumps.
Spasms.
She jumps at the first one, just like nearly falls over.
And you see that the red eye almost seems to follow you as it heaves.
Kind of gets over to Frederick, trying to like just to get to him, kind of hold him, like looking over.
As you kind of like just get to Frederick, it swings at you and just nicks you.
Oh, jeez.
But as you kind of take a step back, it's surface cut on your torso, kind of upwards in the abdomen area, just on the bottom parts of the rib cage.
Going across or going vertically?
Kind of at an upward angle, or downward.
Okay, so kind of like
angle.
diagonal. Yeah, diagonal. Gotcha.
And with that, you hear it go death rattle. George.
And she'll like kind of fall down, like fall over, not like fall over, but fall down to Frederick to kind of like get closer because he's hard to hear already. Hey, Frederick, yeah, man. Okay. And she's like trying to like anything. She's just panicking, but like trying to keep it together.
Bury this place.
I can't hear you.
He's like, bury this place.
I definitely plan on that. And she'll like take his hand in her hand and like squeeze it.
And he squeezes feebly, and over a moment, it weakens and completely goes slack.
She'll take a moment, kind of in just a moment of silence for him and James, before she finally stands up. Make sure that she has, the satchels in hand, kind of straightens herself out, dusts herself up a little bit, and very, very shakily and hurriedly makes it back toward through the antechamber and into the passageway. Now, did we end up opening all 4 of the
No.
The little tombs?
No, you only opened one.
Okay. As I'm going through there, would there be enough room for me to fit into the one that we opened? To kind of, so that I have cover from the blast of the dynamite.
Yeah.
Okay.
As you kind of, you could probably find a kind of nestle yourself in there. You'd be tucked in, it'd be a little cramped, but it would work.
Okay.
As you kind of head over to the door, you hear the muffled voices of the workers and Rupert.
Before I set the charge, I want to at least grab something out of the pile that Frederick had accumulated. Maybe something that he particularly had his eye on.
As you kind of do this, there is a stand of an inverted Ankh that seems very satchable.
She'll discard the other Canopic Jars and grab the statue and maybe a trinket before heading over to the door and setting the charge. Or at least before she sets the charge, she'll try to call out to the people outside, because she can hear them, right?
Yeah, you hear muffled, like, you hear muffled working in a couple workers.
Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
What in Egyptian you hear oh, Madam survived. I hear
thank God. Oh, thank God.
Get the leader. And you hear the muffled voice of Rupert. Hello, is that James? Rupert? Sorry, James Frederick?
No, it's just me.
Georgia? My God.
Open the door. Please.
We were working on resetting up the pulley. There was a little bit of damage.
Okay, don't back up. I'm going to set the charge.
No, don't back. Don't close
I have
the door.
to.
There's too many workers nearby. They were just about to get. Hold on. Just 3 seconds. Hold on. They're almost done.
Just get them away. I have to bury this place.
I can't hear you. Just wait a moment. Just 1 minute. We're almost. They're doing it now. As you... Go ahead and describe what you're
doing. She knows that something has to be done. She doesn't want to wait for the door. She's not really in too much danger at this point. She'll wait long enough for the door to begin to open before she will set the charge Basically, so what I want
you
to...
said you set a charge. It's a stick of dynamite.
A stick of dynamite, rather. That's what I mean. I'm sorry.
It's like we're gonna set the
Using
C4 and
technology
plug
that
it
don't
in.
exist yet.
This is a stick of dynamite.
Yeah. My bad. So like she's like here
Here.
by the door. While she's waiting for them, once the door like opens enough, she's gonna light and throw the dynamite this way, so that at least she can get out safely, but it'll hopefully bury everything from there, or at least the exit.
Okay.
And then get out the door.
As the you hear the okay, stand clear. You go walk over. And as you just wait at the end of the hall for the light to begin to shine, you see the door begin to rise and the light shine in from outside, illuminating the hall again as the sound of the desert again rolls back in.
It's almost a welcomed feel of the dry, sandy air.
As you light the fuse and toss it back into the antechamber, into the now exposed antechamber.
Yeah.
You using flint or something. I don't know what you use. Just a match. And as you go to throw it, you see and hear falls in as a helpless stick of dynamite. Just a stick of dynamite. The fuse went out.
No. She'll get to it and try to get it to relight.
And there's a silhouette in the light at the end of the tunnel. As you go to flick the next match, the match lights up. You go to put it to the dynamite, and this time it's not lighting.
Why? She'll like slam, like just kind of throw it to the ground in frustration.
Lights another match. Maybe. She throws the stick of dynamite in frustration.
Just like, fuck.
And from behind her, she hears a couple footsteps. Patient.
And she'll turn around. Not quite defeated, because there's the whole crew and everything. She can. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to help her bury this place. And she'll turn around and start to head out.
Behind you, who came into Rupert Merriweather came into the chamber, and said, "What is the matter, Georgia?"
She kind of laughs a little to herself and Mr. Merriweather, I hate to be the one to tell you, but this place is cursed, and it needs to be buried. No one else should ever come here.
Huh. Sorry you feel that way, Georgia. Miss Schultz. This place.
She's like kind of like got her arm like around her stomach. Like it still hurts. Like it's not like a grievous wound, right?
Yeah, no, it's flesh.
Yeah. It's still, she's still bleeding. It still hurts. Yeah.
But it's so literally just the skin.
Yeah. So she's got the satchel on one shoulder. She's got her other arm like kind of across her stomach. Oh, yeah, where the thing is.
Yeah. So I feel that way, Miss Schultz. But my partners are invested quite a lot of time and money into this tomb. Other artifact. There's no turning back. No burying the past.
Really?
He puts a hand on your shoulder. Go ahead.
I really cannot recommend that, but I guess loot what you can. But this place should be buried. And she'll just kind of... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
He offers you a hand to help her up. Well, no, he doesn't yet.
Oh, she's already standing and because she started to walk away.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah,
well,
she started
he was
walk
already
away
there
from
when
the dynamite.
you had thrown the dynamite.
Oh, okay.
So that's he was right there. So.
Gotcha. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
she would have stood.
Yeah, as you stand, he do not. I assumed that you appreciated the true history. Over our talks over the last few weeks, I thought you were a little bit more intelligent and understanding, comprehensive in comparison to your uncle, of course.
And I appreciate having been brought out here, but and she'll kind of look down at herself and pull her hand away, as you can see. While the find was everything and more than we asked for, I think it needs to be locked away. And she'll just kind of walk past him out to the crew and kind of just calmly talking to them in Egyptian, trying to calm them down and get help.
As you walk away, he's like, "Hey, hoping that be able to work together. No matter." And as you kind of walk away into the sunlight, you're greeted by the laborers, and that is where we will end the session for today.
Oh,
Any
I was not
epilogue?
expecting a.
Oh, give me
no,
your
you're
reaction.
good.
What were you expecting?
It was just, oh man, I wasn't expecting a big dog man. I wasn't expecting the perfect man. You almost got an oh my glory out of me.
Oh my glory.
Oh my glory.
If you don't know Venture Bros, go watch it. It's great.
Great.
But yes.
Great show.
Return to the House of Mummies Part 2.
Come on, Pop, can't we keep the perfect man?
Alright. So, any epilogues or comments or anything?
I'm sure that, there will be some conversation between her and Rupert back at the camp afterwards. Essentially what she's saying is she's not telling you that you have to do this. She's saying it should happen. She doesn't agree with keeping it open. But she also knows how very difficult it is to find funding and find, sites and jobs. So she's not cutting off
Rupert?
Yeah. She's just, hey, this is me talking to you as a consultant almost in what I just went through. This is not a good idea.
And I think over time, over the course of the next few days and the next week or two at your extraction and all that stuff like that. He will agree with you that the place will be buried. Of course. It kind of comes down to a conversation of, like, maybe, as the excavation continues, you're very adamant that this place continues to be buried. And he finally just kind of buries the axe during tea time one day, and he's just like, look, of course we're going to bury the place, but we're going to extract everything we can out of it before.
Which is what she told him before leaving the passageway.
Right. And
which you can, I guess, but...
He kind of, like, just... It was... It felt like a difference of ideology from his perspective, and he's tried to, like, right the boat, as it were.
Yeah.
With you. Whether you are cool with that or not.
Yeah, no. Just, when he makes mention of this, she's, we're finally in agreement. And she'll just, raise the teacup as almost like a celebratory thing.
I don't believe we were ever in disagreement. Maybe just misinterpreted you. I thought you wanted to bury the whole vault of it in sand. Never see it again.
Something like this, find of the century. But what else we found in there?
Understandable. I am very sorry for your losses. Walden was a good man, and Frederick was a dreamer was. And then you just look over at the, kind of out at the dunes where the beast is buried.
It's kind of...
As you sip tea. After this, I'd like you to work for our organization if you would be interested. Very lucrative, and you'll be able to pursue more archaeological and artifacts of these sorts for our private collections.
I do believe, at least for a short time, I'll be returning home on sabbatical.
Of course, mourn your losses. But know that this offer will be waiting for you. Give it a year. Give it a month. Give it a year. This offer will still be here. Call it an open invitation.
Thank you, Mr. Merriwan.
I will be off as most of this is done, but I bid you a fair day and hopefully farewell.
Will we meet again?
Indeed. It's been a pleasure. Exits the camp. That is the last you see of him until you decide. For now, yes. For the rest of this excavation, this can kind of ebb and flow out. You end up making your way back to England, London, and we can determine kind of what happens from there after. In between our sessions, obviously there's going to be 1918. There'll be a good amount of time, 3 years.
Yeah.
Time to kind of solidify the ramifications of what this means and how it affects George Schultz. But that being said, this has been Occult Origins, the prologue. This is the end. We've introduced all the characters now. This has been the Necropolis by Kate Ossian that we played today. Any opinions, comments, concerns?
That was stressful.
Good.
I had a much better Call of Cthulhu experience than I did last time.
That's good. That's good.
It helps being in a healthier environment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'd like to thank Garbo for the absolutely astounding work. Thank you for letting me lock you in a old musty, dusty claptrap for
Thank
several
you
hours.
for. You mean the cabin?
Oh no.
Thank you for having
That's how
me.
it started.
Thank you for
The
bringing
cabin
me in.
started.
Yeah, it started with the cabin.
Um,
Ended in the tomb.
yes. But yes, thank you for letting me do that. Thank you, friends in chat, and those people who are watching later on YouTube. I appreciate you. Check us out in the descriptions below if you'd like to check out side projects or us on another day. We will be continuing, of course, Occult Origins with a full group, of course, of all 5 of us. It's going to be great.
Can't wait. Get the
But
party together.
yes, indeed. Get this shit started proper.
Right?
But that being said, I'm Grinning Moon, and we will see you all again soon. You guys take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.